How do you approach language mistakes? When using a second or foreign language, how do you feel about being corrected? Make a pause on this video and consider these questions. In our content class, correcting language mistakes is not the focus. However, depending on every professor and their background, we will encounter them and you may decide not to do anything about it. But in case you do, we want to discuss in this video the advantages and disadvantages of doing so. I'll share with you how I approach some lexicon mistakes in my Global Perspectives class. As my students participate, I write down as private notes the words that they often use incorrectly. There are two words they often confuse in their meaning. Lecture, influenced from the Spanish word lectura to mean reading, and actually, influenced by the Spanish word actualmente to mean nowadays. I know these are words they struggle with because they are influenced by their first language. So when I hear someone use them, I wait until the end of the class and very briefly explain their meaning with something like this, making emphasis on the word they meant. Lecture is not equal to reading. You meant to say, the reading was interesting. Actually means as a matter of fact, but you wanted to say nowadays, which is also a synonym of currently, now. But what are the pros and cons of correcting language mistakes? One of the pros is that correcting language mistakes will help in the attainment of accuracy in the use of the language. On the other hand, correcting mistakes constantly impedes fluency and it can also affect student self-esteem. With less correction, some pros are that it allows them fluency and promotes communication. On the other hand, it promotes the fossilization of mistakes. One common language mistake my students often make when introducing themselves is saying their age using the verb to have instead of using the verb to be. And they say something like this, I have 24 years old, instead of I am 24 years old. This is often a fossilized mistake, and this is how they learn it, and no matter how much I correct it, it will take some time for the student to be aware of it and self-correct it. So, to correct or not to correct? Let me share with you some ideas and tips. First, give students time to self-correct. Often, students catch their own language mistakes and immediately self-correct themselves. Second, ask students if and how they want to be corrected. Since this is a class given in a second or foreign language, students may see this as an opportunity to improve their language skills. Consider the language areas you can give feedback on. This is pronunciation, spelling, syntax, or the use of lexicon. Finally, think about whether you should give corrections individually or in front of the group. Think about how you feel or how have you felt when being corrected. This is a good starting point to decide on your stand in regards to this topic.